Kevin Barry here. How are you? Accountant, business owner, using QuickBooks for 20 plus years. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and all those things. But the reason I'm here now is because I want to run through with you the huge improvements that have occurred with QuickBooks Ireland version, the online version, okay? Google QuickBooks Ireland, sign up, okay? I'm a Platinum QuickBooks Advisor. That's my website there. Let's move on. Okay, so there's some supercharged new upgrades. It was always very good, but there were items appropriate to Ireland it didn't do. They fixed all that now. They've all the right Vat rates. They have all the right reports. It'll tie in with the AIB and Bank of Ireland banks, which most of us use. Ulster Bank is there, but the Ulster Bank Ireland version isn't quite there yet. But it's mostly AIB and Bank of Ireland anyway. So it'll huge labor savers. Fantastic opportunity to reduce, say, the slower work that your accountant would do and get more out of them at higher level value adding services for you. So this is what I'm going to show you. The first thing I'd say is download the app. When you download the app, either on the Google Play or the App Store, it looks just like the dashboard, which I'll also show you on QuickBooks. The level of familiarity is great. The labor saving it does. A load of other things I'll show you here. I'll show you the reports, which is kind of the end product, which if you're the business owner or the accountant, you're trying to get to them all the time. We'll start with them, and at least you know what it can do. All right, so won't labor it, but it'll be great. The setup can be done in under 1 hour. But if you don't do the setup right, it'll break your heart. Same with anything. Okay, if you buy a car and you put the wrong fuel into it, it'll break your heart. It'll be the best car. All right. If you buy a house and you forget to put a heating system in, well, you wouldn't do that, but you might forget to pay the bill for the oil. It'll break your heart, have no heat. So it's all about the setup. All right. Accountants. I'm an accountant myself. They're great people. But I heard a comment lately that one accountant said when he moved everyone digital, it came into more of a mess than it ever did. So it goes back to the line above, the setup. You get the setup right, you're fine. You've got to keep an eye on it. A few little tools, keep it right. So, but if you're disorganized, it's an excuse for an accountant to have to rise his bill because they'll go into time and everything has to get paid for. VAT, massive upgrades. Bank, massive upgrades. Invoicing through the WhatsApp, massive upgrades. Issuing, stuff you need to do, statements, keep track of purchases, keep track of your, who's sending you bills and did you get them. We'll all touch on that. All right. So I'll actually start with the app. Now, it's not often you see a kid like that with a book sitting down. Thought it was a great picture. There's no mobile phone, there's no apps, and he's having a great time. Now, you'll still have a great time. But the first thing is download the app. All right. So do that first. And that'll be doing you a favor, believe me, because I want to bring you into the dashboard. Now the dashboard isn't like this dashboard, which would kind of blow your mind, but it's a lot simpler, all right? And all there is with accounting, you can tell a lot about people the way they spend their money, whether it's business owners, whether it's individuals. It all comes back to what they're doing with the money they get, where it goes, and can they account for it, all right? Simple. But if you get lost anywhere in this QuickBooks seminar, just see this word dashboard top left. Click that. So I'm going to, even if I just click around here and say, where the heck am I? What's going on? I'm running reports. Oh, I don't know where I am. Add another account. Crikey, bad enough having one. So dashboard brings you back to this. And that is exactly what your app looks like. Now we also have a line with a few sayings, but one of them is, if it looks right, it generally is right. All right, but if it looks wrong, it generally is wrong. And a picture tells 1,000 words. So with this guy, it says telephone was his biggest bill. This is the coffee house, fictional business I've set up, but I like the name, I get an idea. And it says we're owed 3,159, they're all overdue. Does that sound right? Does it feel right? But before I get on here, which is, although it's the cloud, it's on my desktop, I would see it on my app, all right? So you're always familiar between the two. The bank here, we can tie them in, as I mentioned, with Bank of Ireland and AIB. So it reads it all the time, keeps putting in the information. You don't need to pay a bookkeeper or an accountant or someone like that to do it. You don't need to hassle anyone. So it'll also put together your profit and loss. It learns, all right? So there's a few items here to review. They're all to do with bank downloads. Then it's keeping track of our sales, okay, through the year. Does that look right? Falling sales, might, with the current stuff that's going on. All right, so that's the dashboard. But if you get lost anywhere else, you come back to that dashboard and you'll find your way in generally from 3 places. The one I prefer is this one up here, top left, the plus. It's nearly everything is in there. So here's how you issue an invoice, and if the person pays you, receive the payment, you do quotations. All right, if you want to do a check or a bill, or pay a bill. Now, just a little tip, mark it down. You can't pay a bill unless the bill is in there. So you always put in the bills first, and the bank will download a lot of the payments. And if you think about it, if all of your payments came through your bank account and all of the money paid out by you went out of your bank account, but then by looking at your bank account, you have your accounts, and we just need to track the bank account. But it doesn't work that way in reality. So, but it's not far off, but that's where it is. Some of the other items down are less important. They don't come up that much, refund receipts and that. So certainly entering bills, paying them, writing checks, keeping track of expenses comes up all the time. I like the timesheet ones, who's working today, who's working tomorrow, what they did, who they worked with, what customers. Not that relevant to the coffee house, is relevant an awful lot to professional services, or even, bus companies. And bank deposits, transfers, journal entries, statements, adjusting inventory. Just a big thing to note, a transfer is between your own accounts. I have 2 accounts here, a bank account for day-to-day stuff, and a tax account for putting money aside for the tax man. So transferring between those, or a bank deposit is money coming in from outside, like you're receiving loan funds or grant funds. Okay, so down the left here, we'll have a lot of the same stuff. Some other item, I'll just touch base on taxes are here. What's going on with forms and VAT, what VAT rates there are, come to them later. The chart of accounts, like a map, just think of a world map, and it's what little accounts. So coffee house is selling coffee, in this case it's selling wine, it's buying in coffee, it's buying in wine, it's paying wages, phone, advertising, rent. You can work it out in your head nearly, what you expect to see. So QuickBooks populates it with what it expects you to need. If you don't need them all, you just tick a box here, okay, and you can get rid of them. Just make it inactive, okay? It gets out of your way. Just a little trick. But that chart of accounts is lovely. Anything else down here? Your accountants, if you want to communicate with them. Not many use that, but what really happens there is you put your account, you invite your accountant, and you can put records there between you, confidential between the two. All right, little apps. But that's a lot of what's going on with the dashboard. But again, like we're looking a little bit lost here, so we click dashboard and we'll come back to the familiar. And again, the third way in to a lot of these is, this is the year by month. I'll just click on open invoices. So let's click in there. And it's actually going to bring me up the invoices that are so-called overdue. Brings you right back to them. All right. Again, I'm lost. Why did I click that? Click dashboard again. Brings you back to where I want to be. All right. And now there's some other items here I'll come to later as well. So that's your dashboard. Cool. Don't want that. So let's have a look at the reports. And the thing about the reports is, think of your favorite restaurant, getting the menu in your hand, and you want everything on the menu, and you want to sit in all the good seats, but you can't have it all. You just, you explode. So it's a bit like that with the reports. There's a lot of them in here, and we'll actually show you now. It's a matter of picking and choosing. So I've just clicked reports here on the left, standard, and it lists them down. Now, they're well written. There's who owes you money, who you owe money to. The ones you want, like profit loss balance sheet, these are what you'll be signing at some stage. Your favorite, see the star here? If you tick a star down here, it'll arrive up there. So I'll tick a star. Let's go with accounts receivable aging detail. Okay, and that's now up there. All right. Now with the ones up here, supplier balance summaries, who we owe money to. All right. A nice thing to do is, okay, it's just a standard there and you've got to go looking for them. But if you open one that you like, so I'm going to pick profit and loss, the good old profit and loss. So we're going to open that and there's numbers there, and this is the year to date. But let's say the year to date is a bit too much. We want to know this month to date. Okay, so do that. You press run report. Oh, nothing's happened in this month. Shock and horror. Okay, well, let's go with this quarter to date then. Well, let's give us numbers. Oh my God, it would only happen on this. So, okay, we'll go with this year to date. Then you save the customization. I want to add it to a group. So I'm going to add it to one of the guys here. It's called Matthew, runs that place. I've saved it. But what's going on, says you. Well, I click reports again. I go into custom. I have a few reports saved that Matthew wants to see, but they're unscheduled. So if you click edit, see this thing here, set email schedule. How often does he want to see them? Say he wants to see them weekly. He'll get them, well, it's saying here Sunday. It's not hard to wake up on Monday, but Mondays can be tough enough. Great time to get a report is on a Friday. So you've got the weekend to digest it and then attack on Monday. And that's going to come every week. And you can actually set an end date. Or if you don't set an end date, it'll just come every week. Okay, so that's going to end on the 26th. And I'll put in a hypothetical email there and off it goes. Okay, and you write whatever message you like. But that's the great thing about reporting. The information is coming to you. All right, and that's going to go off now. So there's loads of reports there of what they'll do. I'll touch base on the VAT ones in a moment, but if that's set up right, it is the way to be. Same with the balance sheet. Now I liked, you can, like a balance sheet, oh yeah, that's, everyone pretends they know what it is, even many accountants. But I like to describe what it is on it. It's a photograph of what you own and owe. So what you own, you might own equipment, money in the bank, be money owed to you, that's still good, okay? But you might owe money, that's not good. So if the bottom figure is a plus, that's excellent. So you want to own more than what you owe, and it's a freeze frame on a certain date. So that changes every day as business goes on. So if I went back a month, all those figures are going to change because it was a month ago, and we different money in the bank. We might have owned different assets. We might have been owed different type of money. Okay, so all that moves. See, back to May 31st. And just on that point, you can do the same type of tweaking with the profit and loss, where again, I like to call it the ocean tide coming in and out. So money comes in, money goes out, but it's over a period. So in that case, 1st of January to the 16th of June, over a period. In money comes in, we have to pay the employees and the suppliers out of it. So we have a bit left, we put that aside, the more money comes in again, we pay these guys, and it's a balancing act, all right? But you can adjust the headers on these reports, okay? And you can expand and collapse them. I'll collapse that one. When I expand it, this business sells wine and it sells coffee, all right? So you might want to know what's the breakdown. Did some bus tour work as well, 2632. Okay, so there's that. All right, I think that's that section. We're going to move next up. It's all about the setup here. I'd like to show this guy in the tent. Poor devil. He is, if a wind comes or heavy rain, he's in trouble. Okay, and it's a bit like QuickBooks. You got to set it up right in the first place. Okay, now the product is there, but it's like having a brand new car and not having the license to drive it. It's not much good to you, is it? So set up again, just a bit of attention at the start, even relook at it. I'll show you the key things, like the VAT is really fantastically improved on the setup, and it comes pre-set up now. Now we were always editing rates before to make them fit the Irish thing, because we've got to do all these complicated forms for the VAT man, like the return of trading details is a killer. And he wants it every time, otherwise you don't get tax clearance. And if he gets some of the numbers wrong, like imports and exports, they're driving out to you, going through everything, trying to find out why you've reported the wrong information to what they've been reported. So the people exporting to you, and we're importing, are saying how much has come to us. And if we don't have corresponding figures on our forms, there's a query, all right? And there certainly won't be tax clearance while these issues are being resolved. So, but look at all these different rates, and they're very well explained here as well. So I'll show you a couple that are massive improvements. This reverse charge. Okay, so that's at the reduced rate. So when you import from the EU, and that still includes the UK, if you have a VAT number and they have a VAT number, they don't charge any VAT. But on your VAT return, you have to, in theory, pretend they charge you VAT. And how much did you pay? Say it's 23%. Then you're claiming back too much. So you add it onto the sales side as well. So the VAT that you weren't charged, it's like ghost VAT. You add it to the sales and the purchase VAT. So it's a plus and a minus. You don't owe anything extra, but you've got to report it, okay? And then you've got to report it on the return of trading details. And if you're importing over a certain amount, there's a third form, a V's report. But you got to have these VAT rates. And before there wasn't anything like this. These are fantastic, okay? So your accountant will love this. He doesn't have to come out and get your box of records or call out even. He or she can log in from their own office and have a look at how you're putting through the VAT. All right. And so believe me, this is great stuff. I'll just show the reports again for a second. I'll go down to standard. There's actually a special VAT section down here. I'm just talking about the setup here for a minute. I see this one here, return of trading details report, and I have some figures put in here. Okay, so it's showing purchase here from the EU. Let me just show you that. Let's click on that one. Okay, I'm not sure which date I had on it, but I'll find it now. Here it is. It was a bill bought from CRH, Coffee House Equipment Cement, and it was 23% cement in this case. So when we put RCG in it, it's added 23% to the purchase and 23% to the sale. But it's a zero effect. We only paid them 10,000. This VAT didn't happen with us at all, but we've got to report it on the VAT return. Okay, hard to get your head around, believe me, but it's there. So, because this can be head wrecking stuff. Okay, so just with the setup, you see this cog here on the right? You go in there. A few things. I'll click on accounts and settings. This is obvious stuff like putting in your tax number, name, whether you're a sole trader, limited company. You can edit here with this little pencil. VAT numbers, phone numbers, address the business. Okay, that's easy enough. The type of subscription you're on. Sales. All right, so forms, customize look and feel. Now, I love this. So I set up a sales invoice before I come on this. All right, so let me look. Let me just show you one first, actually, because we do have the time. So I had a really celebrity customer in, Boris Johnson. Imagine that, in he came. So he came in and he bought some coffee. He paid, we charged him enough, 100 euros. Okay, cash over the counter. So let's actually make that cash included. We bought for everybody in the house. I'll just save that bill. That was today. Big crowd in town. And we just want to look and see what the bill looks like. So there it is, nice little blue bill made from the coffee house to Boris Johnson. I didn't like ask him for the address because I knew it anyway. So it was all coffees, reduced rate of VAT, 100 euros including VAT, okay? Down, so that's how that looked there. And if I close that, all right, saved it anyway. You can actually change the way your invoices look. Okay, so there. This color, you change it to a pink one. Or, you know, you might just go on different themes for your business, your branding. You change that all around. The logo is there. Okay, I've actually put in the bank account details on it. Okay, and all this is very easy to do. You just click on content. So I click up here. I might want to change the address of the business. I'll put in the phone number or something. Down the bottom here, I might want, there's our website, thecoffeehouse.ie. There's our bank details. Depending on the line of business you're in, that can be appropriate to do that. You put a message there. No harm. I mean, don't leave these things blank. Say something. So this one, please subscribe to our Facebook page for great offers. Okay. We don't have to do the VAT summary. We can leave that out if it's just not, people don't want that and suddenly clutter. If it's an email address, you can put people's emails and let it off to them. Okay. So a lot you can do, but I like to be loud on the colors. So there you are. So there's one of the things that can be done in the setup. Now you just do it once, pick your coloring and go where it takes, yeah. Chart of accounts I mentioned, that's the map of your accounts, very important. What you sell is a big one here. This list, these are on this list. So the recurring transactions, if you've sales of the same amount going to people every month or every week, you can program them to happen. The same if money is coming in. What you sell, I'll just click on that one, products and services. We've coffee and wines. And I'll just show you how you set that up. Just go into it, name what it is, call it what it is as well. Like, it's great to avoid jargon and make sure. And we'll just put it into, say, sales, okay? So you want to map it that it goes through. So anytime we click that. So I'll go with my plus sign again if I'm doing an invoice. See how quick you can get into the invoices? And this is the same on the app. Boris Johnson came in the day before too. We forgot to send him the bill. Okay. We're going to do some more coffees, charge them twice as much this time. Okay, we'll save it. What did I forget to do? Oh yeah, I've got to. We like to actually automate the VAT rate, but actually the lower rate of VAT reduced, yeah. Okay, and let's have a quick look. Should be orange, I think. Well, I thought it was going to be orange, but anyway, it wasn't this time. It must come back to blue. But anyway, you see how easy it is. And you can do that on the app as well. Anything you like this, do with sales or bills, it's fantastic, you do it on the app. But the setup only takes a few minutes to have it right, and you don't need to keep looking back at it, all right? It's about reconciling the bank account. I'll come to that in a moment. Budgeting. If somebody else gets on and does something, you can track what they did on this audit log. Like accountants can do this all the time. Look back, and I've had people tell me they did, you know, something's missing, and why did you do that? And we say we didn't, or they said they didn't. So we go on here, we see they did. Oh, I misunderstood. You get the point though, you know, you can just, it's not a blame game, but at least you can see who did what and what they got rid of. Because once it's gone, once you delete something, it is gone. There's no re-getting it back, okay? Into account, just got to do with who set up the subscriptions. But those items don't take long to look through, all right? And that's your setup. And like I mentioned, it's all about that, you know? So with that few minutes can make a cracking difference, you know, to your experience of this program. Because when you're dealing with the accountant, and I'm one myself, a lot of the time they're just sorting out disorganization, you know, and they're trying to get to the figures, and then they're trying to work out if there is any income tax or corporation tax. And then so much time might have passed that you can't really look forward. And most business owners like to look forward. They're not, like showing them a set of accounts from last year is similar to trying to sell them last year's newspaper. And they kind of know what's in it. They kind of know how the year did, you know. They might be a bit worried about the tax bill. Do they have the money? But they're more interested in next week than last week. So this gets you to the now. It brings you right up there, you know. So as you're entering bills and sales into this, depending on what arrangement you have with your accounts people, either internal or external, they can track what's going on a now basis. So if you're dealing with banks, you're right up there with the figures. But the more, it's all about being organized. It's all about the setup. And QuickBooks can't do everything. It's only as good as what you put into it. So if it's set up and organized in a way that the information that it needs to go into it goes into it, well, then you're flying it, believe me. And the information the accountants need and you would normally have to pay them for is to hand. Maybe your bookkeeper can produce it. Maybe it can be set up at the outset to produce when you need it, such as once a quarter. And we see where we're going with this one, you know, so that's but it'll help you with accounting fees negotiations. What, you know, what's your budget to pay the accountants and what can they do for that? If they're not tied up in the nitty gritty, trying to add up the pluses and minuses, and they can do a lot more for you with maybe kind of, you know, retirement planning, expansion planning, financing, could be revenue audit work that needs to be resolved. It could be some employee relation issues, it could be management buyout. There's loads of other things that an accountant can do, but do you use them for that? You know, so to get them out of this. Now that's a different type of VAT to what I'm going to show you, but certainly I'll just show you a couple of the reports on the VAT now. I've shown you the rates, they're all there. So if the bills go in and you choose the rates right, well then the reports are done pretty much straight away. So as I look around here, so I'm just going to show you that I'm going to show you just on the report section again. Scroll down. Okay, there's lots of little reports here, and they all have something to do. But this return of trading details one, recently the Irish Revenue went back 6 years with these return of trading details forms. The reason was no one used to fill them out when they used to send them out by paper. They were very detailed. Most people even now don't understand them, never mind 6 years ago. But they went, so they weren't filled. The taxman didn't really look for them. He didn't know whether they were in or not. So now he put them all online and you've got to fill them out now. All right, so, and you can see here what's on it. So I showed you the import from the EU. There's an exempt purchase here for resale. There's sales at the standard rate, sales at the reduced rate. Okay, but all the various types of purchases that could be happening will come up on that. And it'll tie in with your VAT return. So we'll just I'll show you a little app that's a huge help on this in a second. So I'm just going to do one. So let's just say it's Electric Ireland. Okay, first time user. Let's go back a month. Back in time, not many people can do that, but accountants can do it. Okay, and we'll put that into utilities. Yeah. Sorry, just skipped past me there. But it's very user-friendly in adding an account if something new comes up anyway. Utilities. Let's say that's the ESB. That's what we like to call them. And let's just say inclusive of tax, it was 213.46. They always have funny bills. So let's go to the lower rate. So the reduced 13.5. There it is. 25.39 was the VAT out of that 213.47. We save that. Save and close. So again, we go to the return. I just run that report there again. And there's a reduced purchase. Actually, I have it in slightly the wrong VAT rate. Must have been the resale one. We just have a glance at that. Oh yeah, reduced R, I did. So we just wanted reduced, which is not for resale. This one here. And straight away, like clerical errors will happen, and even myself. Okay, so we just run the whole report again. Back to report summary. There we are. And there's reduced other deductible goods and services. So there it's showing us on the VAT return, it does the plus and the minus. On the VAT 3, And on the return of trade details, it has the right figures in the right place. And that's a complicated form, and you can see the amount of taxes on the VAT rates that are involved here. To get the VAT right is fantastic. And so there's out of scope. So there's ones that have nothing to do with VAT because they're not in the EU. You're buying or selling to America. All these VAT rates, you're going to need here. You're going to need them at some stage. Okay, and it's a matter of putting them in the right place, and QuickBooks will put them in the right place in the report, and that allows you to put the right report back to revenue. Brilliant. And these that come out asking, you can show the traceability, and it frees us. It grabs these reports, and so that report is done now. So when we look at it, we can just email in this report and say that's where we got our numbers. Have a look at them. You know, so I've seen lots of mistakes by other people. So at least if we have ourselves right, it's super. So, but that's the VAT, and it couldn't be easier. Like on the purchase and sales, you just choose the VAT rate. So I've showed you the sale there on the purchase bill. I'll show you a great little app at the moment. It really helps. Here's some of our suppliers. We'll say we're buying from Costa Coffee. Say it was also on the 31st of May. See, it's going to be a purchase for resale or cost of goods sold. Yeah, coffee purchase. Okay, let's say we bought small amount, €500. That's foodstuffs, so it'd be 0. So we want 0% resale. Okay. See how quick it was? You just click tax and it's found. Okay, that's done then. And all this ends up, I'll go back to my dashboard, it ends up again in the profit and loss. So this year, let's click a figure here. Okay, there's cost of sales, coffee purchases, cost of coffee, and that brings it right back to the bill. I just entered. Wow, superb. Okay, so let's pick the dashboard. And always when you get lost, go back to that dashboard. All right. So next on the list, the next thrilling installment, okay, will be bank feeds. Okay, a little monkey is a bit like QuickBooks feeding off the bank. It wants to get the information out of it. Okay, we couldn't do this before. It was always there, but not with AIB and Bank of Ireland. But it was with AIB for a little while, but not for that long. And then there was some banking upgrade there last September, where it wouldn't interact anyway. So we were doing it last year for a while with AIB, just not Bank of Ireland. And now it'll do both of them seamlessly. So every night it'll read through your bank and say what money's come in, what's gone out, and it'll put it in here. Now, if it's already in here because you've done the transfer on QuickBooks as you did it online, it'll match up. Say, oh yeah, we see the 1,000 going off. It'll match those up and you okay them. So it's click, 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 but really you're on the ball. And if you do nothing else, every business owner should always look at their bank account to see that they understand the money coming in and they understand the money going out, where it's going. If you do that every day, that is a fantastic control. A lot of people don't do that every day. They entrust other people to do it. But if you have to wait for the bank statement to come in the post or to be downloaded and looked at and compared to what's on the screen and what's this about, there's a lot of time lost there just on pure admin. All right. So, but if it has to be lost, at least it's there on the bank account. So connecting the banks, and I've done it here in this version, is a super thing. And so on your app, you can connect. So on the app, you're walking around there, you know exactly what's in the bank account. You see here on the right hand side, this thing here needs attention. I just do that. All right. And it's got transactions from the bank here, but the connection has expired. It expires every 90 days. So you reconnect. All right, look at it off there. Yeah, reconnect, just click that. Okay, agree to everything. What's going to happen next? And I can tell you what's going to happen next is it's going to look for codes, and I'm going to type them in really quick. So just so you know, so if you time me, I've typed in one of the wrong numbers there. It doesn't matter that you know my number. It's not going to be fatal or anything, because you won't know the next thing. and you won't know the next thing either. All right. So, and what it does then, it just reads the bank for 90 days. And every now and again, you might have to do a reconnection because they've done some security update and they just, either QuickBooks have done it or the bank have done it. But they'll read what's in the bank and they'll make sure everything is dead on. It is super. And if you've this done yourself, it means your accountant doesn't have to do it. Okay. So anyway, would you believe it? A technical error online. It would always happen online, wouldn't it? Anyway, you're right on the night. But believe me, it works all the time. And that's the bank doing an upgrade now, as we're speaking. But here then, just to show, I was showing there was items to review. And when I go into banking, they upgraded this morning. It's got 3 places: for review, reviewed, and excluded. So I'm going to show for review here. So it's asking me, what are these about? He has them all on categorized expenses. So there's different people who are paying different money in the coffee shop. All right. But it doesn't know that yet. It's a new business. So we say, okay, that person, who is this one here? So I click that one too quick because I can't see what numbers are involved. Oh yeah. So there was 400 euros spent. Okay. Of that wages now. So who was working in this place? Actually, payroll expenses. I remember. Oh yeah, there's some real celebrity. Roy Keane works here. Okay, there's no VAT out of scope. Will be those guys. There's no VAT involved. No VAT on wages. So I just put through his wages there. So that's added in. So it'll see that. And then another guy who was also working there was Brian O'Driscoll. Okay. Their employee. Heck of a coffee shop. And so you put those things through. It goes into the bank account. So there's no VAT on that one either, out of scope. Okay. And that's how you put that through. And all those items. Yeah, that's done now. You click them through and then you can set rules. The next time you see certain names here, it'll zoom off into QuickBooks. All right. And let me just click on banking again. Get my bearings. I move over here to the right. Go into account history. It's showing me C means they've been cleared. Okay. So all these names are going through. Yeah. So we're happy with that. Happy with that. And when you reconcile the bank, all you're doing when they say reconcile, it's another bit of jargon, is you're matching what's in the bank statement with what's on your QuickBooks. They say, yeah, that's right. We're happy. We're happy. We're happy. Okay. And let's just say, I'm just going to make this up for the sake of this thing. 500 euros in my bank account today. And you just tick it off that everything that we have on our bank, that everything we've ticked to come through, we're happy enough with it. So if there's something on the bank statement that's not in here, you add it in. And if there's something in here not on the bank statement, you untick it. And eventually that difference ends up at 0. That's what happens. I'm bringing it down there as we speak. Okay. So that's how that works. Fantastic tool, the bank reconciliation. All right. So that's the bank, but the connectivity is unbelievable. All right, next part of the show. Okay, is the WhatsApp. Now, nearly everyone I know has WhatsApp at the moment, but in recent times, you know, we use it for communicating, keeping track of football teams and little groups, or if you're out or something. But I hadn't come across this before, except on QuickBooks, but the sales function. So let's go back and look at one of those sales that we did. Boris Johnson, nice man. And we go down and find one of his. So I hit plus, There's a few little shortcuts. I'll show you another one. If I go plus on the invoice, I hit this little clock. So I go back in time, it'll show me all the recent sales. So he didn't pay me that €100 bill. Okay, and see here at the bottom where we have save. So I just did the sales invoice. I could do this on my phone as well, but on here on my desktop, I have a few options: save and do a new one, new bill, save and email it off to him, save and send. Save and share link is where you might be emailing someone, say click this link and your bill is there. But this one, save and share the WhatsApp, is a new one. So what happens here is, it says there, then we've got the email address. So we're going to share, click save and share. And you go into, well, it tells you there what to do. Open WhatsApp on the phone, no big deal, just done. Okay, and down the bottom is the word settings. Okay, and then there's also a WhatsApp web desktop right at the top there. Okay, and then scan QR code. I look at my screen and all of my WhatsApp contacts come up there, and I can send it all off to one of those and they get the bill. Okay, that's how that works. Now the funny thing about that one is, because the WhatsApp comes up on their phone, it works well with PayPal, but you're now right to them, you know. And if someone is slow paying you, it's a great way to remind them that you're owed money. And they tend to say, oh, I might as well pay them, you know, and it's so convenient. So you may need to set up, in the cases I've dealt with, a PayPal account, and it goes through to that. But, you know, it's just a super way to get right to the person who owes you the money, especially small money, small bills, you know, because they're not such a big amount that people will wonder about them. And I'm sure Boris Johnson would have no problem paying a €100 bill if he got a WhatsApp. Okay, so fantastic facility, not half used enough. All right, that's another upgrade. All right, and there's that one. Okay, the next one then is to do with also getting paid. All right, now if you were arrested, you'd be asked to make a statement, but this is a different type of statement. And it's just, and I'll show you the purchases then, but the main thing about this one is getting the statements out. You know, so if you're the type of business that needs to sell, kind of send out a statement, the thing is to actually send them, you know. So here's a list of our sales, and we have a couple of ones owed to us, and you just click on sales. Okay, and you can have a look there. There's different ways you can share an invoice link or send a reminder. All right, you can send all types of things. But the key is what I find the handiest anyway, is to go into sales and customers. And if you have a long list of customers, they all owe a few quid. Click on their name and click on create statement. All right, and it'll email them. So we're going to have a look at this one. Good old Boris. So there's the address of the business. He came in, bought a rate of coffee, didn't pay for any of them. And there's the bills going off. Down the bottom here is, they're all fairly current. Okay, and that's the statements. But it's great to get these out, and you can send them. Okay. And rather than say statement from the coffee house, you could, you know, be a little bit more polite but firm. Please pay us soon. From the coffee house, our jobs depend on it. Our jobs pay our mortgages. You know, something nice but firm. Like, they'll still come back to you. And that's how you do that. So we'll let that off to that guy. So don't worry, it's not gone to Boris. So that's a different type of statement, but great habit. Great habits don't go old, all right? Same with the purchases. I want to introduce an app here, Receipt Bank. It's just with purchase bills these days, they come at you from all types of angles. All right, so there's bills coming in the mail, like I'm talking the postman. Then they're coming by email to people. You get other emails that say, please download your bill. You get some people then who hand them to you. So they might be in your pocket or in the car or in your briefcase. So, I mean, they're just coming from all sides. Then there's direct debits going on and all of this. So the other kind of item here is all about creating space for the attachment. So the app I'm going to show you is one called Receipt Bank. I've already added it in here. I go down here and have a look. Should be there. Few it is. So I set it up here. And what it is it's another app. It's orange. Okay. And I'm going to bring it to the screen there in a moment. Okay, but Receipt Bank, this is the name of it. Great partners of QuickBooks. Okay, they all integrate and everything like that. But effectively, if you download the app, you photograph your bills with your phone again. And again, remember I said set up a folder and put QuickBooks and Receipt Bank in there together. All right, they work brilliant with each other. And you've got the two of them there. But any purchase bills that come, you photograph them with your phone. Receipt Bank has to be programmed too, but it's no big deal. Okay, and it'll put the bills straight into QuickBooks in the right place, and the VAT will be claimed properly. All right, if there's any mix up, your bookkeeper or Receipt Bank or your accountant will catch it. There's plenty of places around the play, but I've got 3 examples here that I put into Receipt Bank earlier today, and just to show you how convenient it is. So I'm just going to log in. Here, 1 second. So these are 2 bills, okay, that I emailed into Receipt Bank. So another thing with Receipt Bank is if somebody emails you a bill, you can forward it to a dedicated email address and it'll come in here and make its way off. You can photograph it with your phone or you can scan it, all right? So here's a bill from Kenco Coffee for buying Colombian coffee beans, all right? And we've told it it's beans, it actually works out itself. We didn't tell it anything yet, but there's no VAT in it. It's worked out the name, it's an expert system, okay? Now it doesn't know the VAT yet because it hasn't heard of these people, but I'm going to tell it here. Next time it sees Kenco, the VAT is 0% resale. So it's read the VAT rates in QuickBooks already. So there's a 0% resale. There's an Irish purchase. Okay, and we'll just see cost of goods sold because I'm going to sell all this. Coffee purchases, yeah, there it is. That's in QuickBooks. I'm going to close that up. All right, and there was 2 bills here. Actually got a third. The second one was an advertising company. Again, we only forwarded this in. It's read all this information itself. It's got the right date on the bill. It doesn't know what the bill is for yet. It knows it's English though. It's a great British punt, or British. Okay, the tax rate is going to be 23% standard. You see now where that one is. It's not the reduced one. It's the standard either. Yeah, this, is there an S there? Yeah, RCS. Okay, it's also converted into euros. And category of advertising expenses. Look at that. Okay, it's all happening. Okay, so that's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'll click on the inbox there again. I'm going to publish both of those. So that's going to head off into QuickBooks. And also while I'm here, so that was Kenco and No Limits Marketing. I actually have another one, which is a machine purchase. I'm going to just drag over. It's a PDF that I scanned earlier. Okay, just to show you how convenient it is. I just dragged it over there and it's going to work away in processing there itself. Takes about, if it's never seen a supplier before, it can take up to 2 hours to pull the information, puts it in here, and then you tell it next time you see it, put it into A, B, and C, and it'll just zoom through here. So if you're regular purchases, they'll zoom through. Okay. I'm just going to look at my inbox again. Both those items have just published to QuickBooks now, and I'm really showing you about a couple of things here before we go over. So on the current slide, remember I mentioned to you that the bills are coming at you from all sides. You know, they're being handed, they're posted, they're emailed, they drive you crazy. Okay. The thing that drives you crazy is making space for all the paperwork. Now, those are Ronaldo's boots, and if ever you see him, he makes space for himself when there is no space. He's the most marked man in the world on a soccer pitch, but yet he's all this space. It's the same with the bills, okay? If we didn't have to keep all this paperwork, we'd have tons of space. Now, I'm going to show you where this paperwork ends up now in a momento. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so we've just come back over to the coffee house. Let's go down and have a look at these. Let's have a look at, say, the customer reports, the reports that we're familiar with and we're used to seeing. So I'll look at the, and look at the balance sheet. Was one of them equipment? Wasn't it? No, that was, maybe I'm thinking of the other one. Sorry, we look at the profit and loss. Oh yeah, sorry. There is an equipment one coming through, but it's still processing. So much happening here at the moment. So the profit and loss, okay, year to date, and we bought in coffee, which being these coffee sales. Now that looks a lot of numbers on the screen there. I'm just going to condense it. See, it's condensed there. Total sales 2,056, cost of sales 920. We made a loss so far this month, but that will change. And here's the advertising, first of all, 2231. There's the bill from No Limits Marketing. I'm going to look over here to the right. Okay, that's the correct amount, yeah. I'll click on it here. The correct VAT rate, because they're reading each other, those two programs. And there's the reverse charge issue that we mentioned earlier. So it's put it all in correctly there, and the plus and the minus. Now, this is the thing about storage. You see this little thing here, attachment? There's the bill. I'm in QuickBooks, and I've got the bill. I've also got a backup of it on Receipt Bank in the archive now. So you can rip up that bill if it's on your desk now, because you don't need to save it in a LeverArch file. You don't need to buy a filing cabinet over there, and you don't need to put it in the filing cabinet and rent extra space and rent extra room. If you think about it, a purchase invoice is only a digital representation of what came off somebody else's computer. So they've got a backup of it. So the photograph is either on your phone, it's in Receipt Bank, it's in QuickBooks, and if the revenue officer or somebody wants to see it, if you email that to them, they'll be fine. Okay, they'll be fine. So I'll also go back and just have another little look there. In cost of sales, he bought some coffee. Kenko, there she was. And do you remember? See, that wasn't there a few minutes ago. And now there's the exact bill. It came over that quick. So what happens after a little bit of programming is you're photographing the bill, it zooms through Receipt Bank into the accounts, it's there. And you could be thousands of miles away. You know, and these are the bills that get lost, that people forget to bring home with them. They forget to keep, they don't realize how important they are. Okay, and that's that. The other thing I'd say is with the bill I brought over there a moment ago, that's still going through Receipt Bank processing. If I wasn't prepared to wait for it, okay, I could just, we'll say it was cost of coffee one. That was a demo I did earlier. See the attachment, there's no attachment there, but I'm going to put in great coffee machines, which is actually going to Receipt Bank at the moment. So if you didn't have Receipt Bank, if you scanned and you had the facility, I'll try and get everyone to spend money, but you see that's how quick it is to get it into QuickBooks. So it's there now. Look at that. I'll take it away from that because it's going to Receipt Bank and it'll be here in a minute. All right, so that attachments is another massive saver, and people don't use it half enough, okay? And it's a cracker, okay? So do yourself a favor with that useful app, Receipt Bank, all right? It just, like, this man is in outer space, he's so delighted with it. But there's loads of little apps, and you don't really have enough time to say, do I need this, do I need that? But that one is a cracker with QuickBooks. It's not half as good without QuickBooks. All right. You need QuickBooks and you need that. All right. The two of them together are powerful. Give it a shot. Okay. Okay. And timesheets, like depending on the type of business you are, you know, keeping track of people's hours, keeping track of people's days, keeping track of what people worked on can be tough going. Give the employees a responsibility. They're looking to prove their self-worth. They're looking to prove why they're more valuable, why you need them. So if they're working on customers or on jobs that have value, especially you know about it, so that you know they can progress their careers. You might promote them, you might train them better, you might put them in charge of more stronger accounts, stronger customers. All right. So the timesheet area, we'll just have a look at it here. Not on the app yet. It uses up a lot of energy. I'll just get rid of that there. And but it's very convenient, you know. So things get a little bit cluttered here. Let me just move them around. All right, I'm a little lost. I'm going to my dashboard. Okay. More little screen issue, which we'll sort out. So these ways of timesheet, you hit the plus again, the weekly timesheet. Or if you have employees who don't need to see all this accounting work, you can actually send them a link that allows them put in their time. They'll have to do it, to my understanding, on a desktop. It'll probably arrive on the phones eventually, but generally it's a desktop. And even if it's a desktop at work, let them do it. And this is what it is like. You know, we've got two employees here, Brian O'Driscoll and Roy Keane. They're tough guys to mind, and they don't get on with each other. Well, I'm sure they do. But so say they were working on, again, we'll go to good Boris Johnson, might be all day, keeping him happy, keeping him supplied with coffee. Okay, and that's what he was doing for 8 hours, you know. You know, so when it comes, we can automate a report that goes to your phone again on a Friday night. Perhaps you pay the wages on Saturday. Who worked what hours in that week? You do up your wages, they're all paid. Okay, and the staff people can put in their own details here. Even yourself, you might lose track of what you're doing. Are you walking around with diaries? Are you writing stuff in your phone? Are you putting post-its up on the mirrors and say, oh, I must remember that? But you can actually be planning your week ahead of who you're going to work on and what it's going to be about. Okay, fantastic facility. This one is nothing new to the upgrades, all right? But it's just something I like to mention because it makes such a difference to the management of any business. And you've seen the different management styles. Like the last massive upgrade that is there is the online help. It wasn't there before. It's as good as what's in the UK now. And you click on help up here, all right? And the main thing is the chat room. There's a superb QuickBooks community on Facebook as well. You put a query on there, it's going to be answered, okay? And it's by people like you and me who are on there, and an awful lot of the actually Intuit people themselves are on there. So if it's a longer query than you might be able to do on a chat room, then you do it. So see here, I hit help and contact us, let's talk, okay? The new QuickBooks, okay? Okay, you click let's talk and they're on there in a few minutes, all right? They might put some bots your way, but they'll come on to you, all right? Ask community is all there, but chat is where you'd love to go, and that's the one. So superb backup. I use it regularly, and I'm using this for years, and there's always going to be little issues that you forget or you can't quite remember, but that's one. That help thing on the Irish Republic of Ireland version of QuickBooks, to have that is mammoth, all right? So that's really, we're nearly at the end of the show. So give it a crack, okay? It's free for 30 days. They've always had that superb offer, and then you pay full price after that. Full price is super value. If you want to pay from the off, it's half price for 6 months. That's even better value. Have your mind made up, it's the one to go with. So hope you enjoyed all that. All right, it's all about the upgrades. It makes life easier, helps you have an easier life, make money, raise your family, all the things you want to do, have the holidays you want to do. You get your best ideas when you're off, and it'll give you the opportunity to have that time off to get your best ideas. Okay, best of luck with everything. I'm sure it'll go well, and bye for now. See ya.